Carl, how do you convince a client to make the right decisions and not end up in a situation like Katie Magbanua ended up in?
Katie's situation is a textbook best case scenario for if you don't have client control and you don't have a commanding knowledge of the facts and likely outcome of the case, then your client is going to be set up, in this case, life without parole. And so if there's any chance your client has any positive information to be used as leverage to flip on another unindicted co-conspirator, that's your chance to be able to convince your client. And so you have to be a strong, confident, and knowledgeable advocate and get your client to believe that you're going to steer them in the right direction. So I've never seen it where a defendant has the ability to walk out of jail. Because think about it, Katie was in jail for 3 years and not seeing her kids. I mean, this is like a horrible experience to go through, and yet she withstood all that time in jail when she could have gotten out by flipping on Charlie and possibly more of the Adelsons, right? Mm-hmm. But she chose to maintain her innocence to her own detriment. And so now she's coming forward and has 3 proffers, so she's got a lot of information that she obviously was lying to her attorneys, and so an attorney needs to be able to have a rapport with your client and get them to realize that this is not going to be a good outcome. One of the techniques that I use is I don't want to ever have it look like my client knows the outcome of their trial better than I do. And I'll tell them that. If you think that you want a lawyer that you can outsmart on all this legal stuff and predict the outcomes better than me, then you need to get somebody right out of law school. Because they'll believe everything you say, and they will, do exactly how you want to plead, and they won't have the tough talks with you, and they won't have the seasoned experience to say, you know what, this is how it's going to, here's how the best case scenario is not a good outcome if you go contested. And so that's really worked well, because then they tend to agree with me that, you know what, I don't want to have somebody that I think I'm smarter than representing me on something where I'm facing a life sentence.